Wow, ladies and gentlemen, the update on Rust, the Rust shooting, it just keeps going on, just continues. Alec Baldwin may still come back with criminal charges, actually. So, this is a pretty major update. I've been covering this during the entire case, basically, periodically, whether it's been here or on the second channel as a group discussion. I've been keeping up to date on it and keeping the conversation going. Now, if you don't know what this is, there was a movie called Rust. Alec Baldwin was a producer on it. He also starred in it, and he fatally shot the cinematographer. So, pretty major. If you don't know about it, and you frequent people that make, movie videos about movies, then it's quite shocking, to be honest, because this is something you should know. This is quite major. It's one of the biggest events in terms of, I guess, health and safety in the movie industry. This hasn't happened since Brandon Lee died on The Crow. No one has died on set with a gunshot since Brandon Lee on The Crow. So it's pretty major. Alec Baldwin thought he was getting off scot-free. The armourer was getting blamed for it all, basically. And wherever you sit on all of this, it's not the conversation I'm looking to make with this video specifically. I'm just updating you on what's happening. You guys can chat down below in the comments on whether you think he's liable for any of these charges, whether he should go down. That's the conversation I want you guys to have down below. But let's take a look, right? So this dropped yesterday, pretty late as well, but there was a New Mexico judge yesterday pulled Alec Baldwin back into the criminal case over the death of the Rust cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, which was 2 years ago. This is still not concluded after 2 years, which I think for me is the my main source of frustration when I report on this, is that justice in whatever form should be much more swift than 2 years. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Whether or not you agree the justice served is proportionate in terms of, who's going down for what. It should be much swifter. 2 years, way too long. It keeps the wound open, quite significantly. So Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer ruled Tuesday that Rust producers cannot crush a subpoena. The ruling means that they must give prosecutors internal documents, and this is the interesting stuff, pertaining to Baldwin's full role on the since resurrected film. So that's interesting because he said, well, I'm producing name only. I'm just actually an actor. No one's coming to me for anything. So it sounds like there's some confusion behind closed doors about who actually was doing what the role actually was. So, yeah. So now prosecutors will get the internal documents to say exactly what Alec Baldwin's role in the film was. Whether he was there, he was to do a safety, basically whether he's liable from a safety perspective, whether he agreed certain things, whether he hired certain people, whether he had any more sort of managerial duties, producer roles outside of being an actor. So Baldwin saw criminal charges against him in the death of Hutchins dropped earlier this year. The special prosecutors in the case have not ruled out refiling manslaughter or other claims against him down the line. So this is not good for him, because if there's anything in those documents that imply he had a more hands-on producer role, he's probably going to be screwed. So currently, only former Rust armourer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is facing charges, and this is the statement anyway. So it says a final decision will be made within the upcoming 4 to 6 weeks, Special Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey said in a statement last week about Baldwin's legal fate after a hearing on the production's effort to squash the subpoena. A public announcement will be made whether we decide to refile. So they're obviously going to base that based on the internal documents. So one of the co-creators of the Rust story, along with the director Joe Souza, Baldwin was a producer on the film as well as the star. Production documents and files could shed light on what Baldwin's financial arrangements were for Rust. How much did he stand to profit from the film? And how much did he know about cost and safety concerns, or safety corners that may have been cut, sorry. Because that's the other major thing here, is that clearly a lot of safety precautions were overlooked on this film. Obviously, someone's dead. And that hasn't happened on films ever since Brandon Lee. So clearly something's been done here. I mean, for there to be live rounds on a set, obviously safety has been overlooked. Baldwin has always insisted that he did not pull the trigger on the gun that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins, even though he's pointing it directly at her during an on-set rehearsal. Forensic tests and also investigations by the FBI and independent experts suggest it would have been near impossible for the gun to have gone off by itself. So they're like, well, no, someone did fire it. So no explanation for how live rounds got on the set of Rust has emerged yet. Representatives for both Baldwin and Reed did not respond to requests for comment on today's ruling. If and when they do, it will be updated, and I'll probably do a video on it as well. So pretty major stuff, actually. Massive, massive, massive stuff. Yeah, just absolute crazy. I mean, it was live streamed as well, so that was on October 6th. So this is pretty crazy stuff, ladies and gents. It looks like he's probably going to get pulled back in, because I can't imagine. I mean, he's the reason why this film got off the ground. And he was tied very closely to the LLC production that was established, you know, as an umbrella to make this film. It was very, very closely tied to that. There is absolutely no way that someone of his weight, no pun intended, as an actor and and in the role of a producer, wouldn't be privy to a lot of these safety things. There's just simply no way. Absolutely, unequivocally, he would have had some sway on set. So this is bad news for Alec Baldwin. You know, again, charges could be refiled, and this could happen in days. You know, they're going to have to get those internal documents. They'll review it. I think ultimately he will probably get put in the crosshairs again, unless someone intervenes on his behalf. That could happen. He's tried tooth and nail to get this thrown out. You know, even citing political bias from certain prosecutors, which is nonsense, because, you know, if you're going to pull someone out for political bias and then replace them, how are you going to know that they don't have political bias towards you favourably? So whatever, it is what it is, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Cheers guys, take care, bye bye now.